everybody, this is Jay the Wanderer with Oakland Latinos Unidos. I'm out here in Santa Rosa today at the protest for justice for Andy Lopez, who was murdered by the police. As you can see, there's a lot of people here, about 700 strong. See, the police are back here watching us, protecting their little dungeon right there, the sheriff department. So I'm here with a local revolutionary who I always see around Oakland all the time, who's part of the Revolutionary Communist Party. You want to give your name and what organization you're with? Well, I just said, but clarify it.
Yeah. What's up, Jose? My name is Rafael. I'm with the Revolution Club in the Bay Area. And a bunch of us came up today, man, because we are sick and tired of our youth being shot down, man. Decade after decade, time after time, man. Fact is, Andy Lopez got murdered on the fucking same day that we were out there in Fruitvale and in Sacramento and all across the country protesting. October 22nd, it was the national day to stop police brutality, repression, and the criminalization of a generation. And thousands and thousands of families have been through the same thing that Andy Lopez's family has been through, which is why I'm a revolutionary, man, because we need to put an end to this shit. I don't want to be here protesting one murder after another by these police when I'm 50, 60 years old, man. People saw what happened to Trayvon Martin and they thought about Emmett Till 50 years later. Do we want to be here 50 years later remembering Andy Lopez and the shit is still fucking happening? So we need a revolution, and more people need to understand, the role that the police play in the society too. The role of the police is not to serve and protect the people. It's to serve and protect the system that rules over the people.
Yeah.
It's not just a few bad cops. It's not just a few corrupt cops. It's not just the sheriff department in Santa Rosa. It's this whole fucking system that needs to go. So.
Well, the whole system was based on exploitation.
That's true, man. Started from the beginning. This country was founded on slavery, genocide, theft of land, and that shit continues up to today, just in different forms. So,
yeah. So, what is your whole thing about the toy gun incident that they're talking about? What's your take on that?
The toy gun, look, man, if that situation couldn't be handled in a better way, then that tells you something about what these police do. That pig that killed Andy probably had the same mentality that Zimmerman had about Trayvon Martin, that people are trained in this society to view Black and Latino youth as criminals.
Yeah.
So, if that had been a white youth in a more affluent area with a BB gun, would they have dealt with it differently? I'm sure they would have, But the fact is, they saw the way that these police think. When they saw Andy, they saw a target,
Yeah. And plus he was supposedly wearing a hoodie, so that's another thing you got to take in question as well. Because unofficially in this country, wearing a hoodie and being a person of color is a crime. We already know that. But even though a lot of white kids in college wear hoodies, but you know how that goes, man.
Right.
So I was thinking of one thing the other day. A lot of white youth, they have BB guns. They train how to use guns at a very young age, and they're not demonized in the society. But if a Latino or a Black youth does that, and he has a clean record and is a good person and goes to school and everything, they still deem him a criminal. And that's our system. That's our system of colonialism and institutional racism that we have in this country that demonizes youth of color over and over again. We're looked upon like we're these macho youth, like we're adults already at a young age in their eyes. We're not kids to them.
Right.
We're like animals damn near to them. And it's a fucking shame.
And that shit has a long history in this country, going back to Emmett Till, going back to all the people, Black people and Latinos in this country. Hundreds of Latinos were lynched in the history of this country as well, So, and many of them kids, many of them youth. Emmett Till was, 14 years old?
Yeah.
Trayvon Martin was,
18?
18, 17 years old. So we have a
And even in Oakland, in the past, in the 60s, during the Chicano movement in Oakland, there were some very high-profile Chicano murders of a guy named Charles Pinky de Vaca. He was shot right through the heart by the OPD in 1968. 1967, Barlow Benavides was shot, had his head literally blown off by a shotgun right there on High Street and International Boulevard. And these were cases where people rose up back in those days against the Oakland police. Chicanos rose up and Black people in solidarity. And we're still here after, like you said, after all these years. I'm just giving examples of Chicanos that were murdered by the police in the past as well. And we have Ernest Duenas, who was murdered in Manteca a couple years ago. So, you know, black youth, Chicano youth.
And a 15-year-old Jose Buenrostro in Oakland was murdered by the police, and they said the same thing. They said he had, I think, a gun or a realistic...
A shot-off shotgun, I remember that.
So,
and before that, a Native American kid named Andrew Maupin was killed in Oakland.
So the question is, like, how long is this shit gonna continue, man, before we... What is it gonna take, right? I think it's gonna take... I'm part of the Revolution Club because I think it's gonna take a real revolution to put an end to this shit, you know? People tried in the 60s. The Black Panthers and other organizations at that time tried to make a revolution, but they didn't go all the way, you know?
Yeah.
They were murdered, incarcerated. They didn't have a strategy for revolution, you know?
Co-opted.
So we, you know, we in the Revolutionary Communist Party and the Revolution Club promote Baba Vakian. The dude has developed a strategy for revolution, the vision of a whole... And a vision of a whole different type of society that we could be living in, you know, where the police would rather take a bullet for the people than put a bullet in the people, you know?
Yeah.
How can we get to that world? What's the path from here to there, you know? People got to look into this, you know? If you don't want to be here at a fucking protest yelling at these people, you know, this is what democracy in America looks like. Democracy is they can shoot us down and we get to yell about it on this side of the barricades while the fucking pigs with guns look down on you, ready to shoot you, ready to murder you. That ain't no kind of democracy.
Yeah. Basically a police state.
It is, you know?
Well, that's about all the time I have, bro. Well, thanks for making this interview, bro.
All right, bro.
It's always good seeing you.
You too, man.
Having conversations. I'm going to walk around for a little bit and probably head home after that because I got to work later on.
All right, man.
All right, bro.
All right, peace out, man.
Peace out.